5 things that annoy you as an audio engineer. And good question, and really, really easy to answer. There's quite a few that annoy me, but the five big ones are these. I mean, number one is file naming, right? When you deliver stems to someone, right, and this is a real annoyance for me, is, let's say for argument's sake you're sending 50 stems. Don't send 50 stems that are audio 1, audio 2, audio 3, audio 4, audio 5. It's so easy for you to just go, right, kick, snare, hi-hat 1, hi-hat 2. It's so easy for you to do. But because of the manner in which I'm working, I import the session, I import the audio into the session. I've got all the audio files. I've then got to solo each one and rename it myself. I've then got to, I've got to put it into a bus that's named that. It's such a palaver, and it's totally unnecessary. And to be honest, it's totally unprofessional to deliver stems called audio 1, audio 2, audio 3. Even like things like vocal. When you duplicate a lead vocal, for instance, it will say lead vocal, and then the next one, if it's duplicated, it'll say lead vocal dupe. Just rename it. It doesn't take. It takes you 2 seconds to just go, right, lead vocal 2, BVs. Just rename the files instead of just sending them as a direct print. So yeah, that's number one. Number two would be, we get a request, like let's say for instance we get a mix sent to us for mastering, and you'll see in the email, make it loud, make it as loud as possible. Make it loud. Make it. I want to be minus 5 LUFS. I want to be this. It's like, firstly, that's not what's best for your song. The ridiculous loudness. Like, make it loud. Make it loud. We'll make it as loud as what is required for your song. Now that's the key thing here. Is what's required of your song. What is your song? What is the loudest your song can possibly be? We will make it, if you require it loud, we will make it to the loudness that it's required. But don't dictate the LUFS, because you can't physically dictate that, because it could, that could be terrible for your song. And then also as well is if you kind of go, oh well, I'm going to dictate the LUFS and I'm going to say I want it minus 9, which is a lovely level. That's what we optimize all masters for. Minus 9 is like a really, really nice LUFS to hit. But some songs can go louder than that. So by dictating that you want it at minus 9, you can probably get minus 8, minus 7. That can be a possibility without any degradation of the song. So one of the annoyances for me is people who A, dictate the loudness of their master, and B, they just go, I want it loud, I want it loud, I want it louder than this guy, I want it louder, 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 louder. Calm down, just bring it down a bit. This is a nice volume. And if you want it louder, guess what? Turn the volume up. Number 3, and going off of that number 2, is people who request minus 14 LUFS. And it's the similar people who basically say, oh, can I have it at minus 14 LUFS because I want to release it on Spotify? Well, then you don't want it at minus 14 LUFS. Like, why do you want it at minus 14 LUFS? Oh, why? Because Spotify play it back at minus 14 LUFS. Yeah, but you don't deliver it to Spotify at minus 14 LUFS. I mean, this is like I was going to say it's common sense, but it's clearly not common sense. It's very much common sense to majority of the people in the music industry, but to a few people, they've kind of got hoodwinked by this whole minus 14, minus 16, and what you've got to understand is these platforms, they have a loudness that they set their volume at. They don't go and compress. Like I hear it all the time. Oh, Spotify compress your sound. No, they're not physically compressing the sound down to minus 14 LUFS, right? They're not taking something that hits minus 8 and compressing it down. All they're doing is turning the volume down, so all the songs regardless of their LUFS before they're delivered to the platform, are all at a reasonable minus 14 LUFS, and that is done by just turning the volume down. It's not. It's so annoying to have to constantly have to tell people this and explain this to people in emails, because they're very they've been kind of taught, and they've been kind of tricked by that loudness website of like, oh yeah, you're going to get penalized. You're not. Like, you really aren't. It's really bad information that some people put out years and years ago that you know, it's not the case. And that's one thing that really annoys me. Let's have a think. What else? Number 4 would be working with groups of people, and you have basically, let's say for argument's sake, like it comes in various forms. You've got A&R, you've got other people, and you work with this person, and they ask them, and then they ask their bosses, and it ends up through the chain, and then it ends up coming back, and it's like Chinese whispers going up and down the chain. It's like you should have on every project is one person that just makes all the decisions, and this is the person that's they're in contact with the engineer, and they make the decisions. When you work with, let's say, I mean, not all bands are like this, but some bands are like this. When you work with a band, for instance, the vocalist, she goes, I want the vocals louder. The bass guitarist, he generally doesn't say anything. The bass guitarist generally isn't one to sort of talk. The guitarist, lead guitarist, lead louder. Right, okay. Drummer, oh yeah, punchier, tighter. Right, okay. And it basically everybody's just going, right, let's all go up. But like, it's not like each person just wants to be the focus point, and you don't get this with every band. By no means, like 95% of bands are perfectly fine, but you get the odd kind of band members that are just like the vocalist. It's generally the vocalist. I want to be louder. I want to be louder. I want to be louder. Oh well, I want to be louder. And it's like, and then it's like you get certain information from certain members of the band, whereas you need someone who takes control of the band are here, then there's someone here that takes control of the how the project's going to end up, because you know, a vocalist will always turn around and go, well, I want to be the loudest person on this track. The guitarist, I want to be the loudest person. The drummer, I want to be the loudest. And it's not always what's best for the song, and they're taking it very much as a solo thing, and really just thinking about themselves rather than thinking about the whole project, which is where we're sat. We're sat looking at the whole project. So yeah, that's somewhat annoying. I tell you, one that's really annoying, and partly the reason why I don't have attended sessions here is people who attend and one, don't understand kind of personal space. Two, won't shut up. Like, you've got to understand, and when an engineer's trying to work, don't keep rabbiting on at the back of the room. Don't keep talking to, like, all right, if you've got something that really needs to be said to the engineer, talk to the engineer. But don't have a conversation with your mate, because what you've got to understand is when us engineers are mixing, we're listening in fine detail to everything. You might not be, but we are. And having someone talking behind you is really off-putting, and you're trying to listen to the smallest, tiniest little frequencies and imperfections in the song to correct it, and you've got someone behind you talking away. It's really annoying, and it's very difficult to work with. I mean, I don't work with a lot of clients in this studio, but I have done a lot in the past, and it is really annoying, and it's very hard to approach someone who's paying you to be there, and they're having a chat with their mate. It's very hard to approach the situation and be like, right, look, come on, man, I'm trying to work here. Let's keep the noise down, because you're having a direct effect on the outcome of the song. Things like, take your drink, keep it over there. Don't come nowhere near all this equipment with your drink, because if I spill my drink, then I hold my hands up. I've messed things up there. But if you do, you know, you're in big trouble in regards to you probably haven't got insurance for yourself, whereas we have, things like that. So all just when you attend someone's studio, just respect the environment that you are in. That's a big thing. I did an article years ago about the kind of studio etiquette and how to be when you're in a studio, and that one went down really well as an article. But yeah, I mean, they are my five. And you know, I'm not someone that gets annoyed with a lot of things, because I'm very much a happy-go-lucky, life is very wonderful type of guy. But if you force me to pick five, yeah, they're my five, because some of them are quite annoying.